Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week we continue learning from our Sefer Duties of the Heart, Hadot Halevavot, by Rabbi Ebahiab Ibn Pakuda. We began last week talking about the unity of God, the gate of the unity of God. And it started talking about the Shema Israel and how in the Shema Israel we come to grasp how Hashem is everything. Today we will be talking about what is the definition of the wholehearted acknowledgement of the unity of God. So Rabbi Pakuda says that according of the heart and tongue in acknowledging the unity of the Creator, after arriving at verification through argument. So some people come to understand the unity of God through argument of His existence and absolute oneness by way of analysis. So they not only analyze it, but they argue about it. And for the acknowledgement of God's unity varies among men according to their different levels of insight and understanding. So not everybody can understand Hashem in the same way. Each one of us has a personal relationship with God. Each one of us feels Hashem in a very different way. Why? Because it's like when a parent has many kids, each kid has a different experience with that dad. Like if you talk to my sister, we grew in two different homes. And it's funny, but we ate the same food, we shared the same room, we had the same closet, we shared the same bathroom, we went to the same school, we had the same vacations, everything the same. But nevertheless, her experience was a different experience than mine. So her recollection of her childhood is like if she was born in a different home. So here, Rabbi Pakuda is telling us that every person has a different way of absorbing information, of feeling, of intellectual appreciation, because each one of us is different. So there are those who acknowledge His unity only with their tongues. They hear others professing something and they do likewise, but they have no knowledge of the meaning of what they are saying. So there are those who acknowledge His unity with their hearts and their tongues, understanding the meaning of what they are saying from what they have received of the tradition from their fathers. They do not, however, understand the true meaning of that which they believe in on the subject. So what he's saying is that many people have a relationship with God depending on what their fathers give them, or their parents give them at their home. Like if the parents have a healthy relationship with God, this child is going to grow up with a healthy mind and believe in God. But if the relationship with God in the home is not a good relationship, if the parents are angry at God for whatever reason, or they just don't believe in God, or they have questions about God, then the child is gonna grow up also feeling this is God. I remember I read a book by Rabbi David Aaron, and he was saying that his idea of God was a very serious, like a very serious person. That's what he felt about God. Why? Because in his home, every picture the parents had in their home was of rabbis that looked like very serious. So he would like connect the rabbis with God, and in his head God was a very serious God. So there are those who acknowledge His unity after understanding through recent argument the truth of the doctrine. They conceive of God's unity, however, as similar to other existing unities, and form a material conception of the Creator, comparing Him with that with which has form and likeness. So what I was telling you, like sometimes we feel that God is like an old man with a big beard, white beard, with a nice smile. But God has no form, no shape, no nothing. He's infinite. Like we can't put Him in a box. We cannot make an image out of Hashem because we can't. When the Torah talks about God and He says, and God saw, or God extended His hand, really it's using this wording so we can relate to God. But really Hashem has no eyes and has no hands. He's not corporeal. He's something that we can't even grasp. So here he's saying there's people who have a conception of God because of what the parents gave them, their tradition. This is what it is. This is what they saw at home. And they don't delve more. They don't go more. They don't go deeper into it. They don't go and learn about God. And then you have people that have a material conception of Hashem, comparing him with which has form and likeness. And this is because they have no knowledge of his absolute unity or of true nature of his existence. Also, they're not knowledgeable. They're ignorant about God. So there are those who acknowledge his unity with their hearts and tongues after understanding the meaning of the absolute one and the relative one and arriving at verification through reasoned argument of his existence and absolute unity. So this is the ideal way of acknowledging God's unity, is by learning about Hashem, learning Tanya, learning Torah, learning Hasidut, learning Musar. And when you go into this, you're not going to have an idea of what God is, because we cannot put him in a box. Like I said before, you cannot take something that is infinite and package it in a finite way. We're finite beings. We have a finite intellect in this world. We have no infinitude as a material, physical person. Our soul is infinite, and it's gonna transcend the ages. It's because it's a part of Hashem. So it's part of God. It's infinite. But in this world where we live right now, we live a physical existence. We are bounded by time. We're bounded by space. We have a certain amount of intellect. There's so much we can learn. We can't know everything because we are not infinite beings in this world, in this package in which we're put into. So here it says the ideal way of acknowledging God's unity. For this reason I have defined, and I'm talking in first person because this is the way Rabbi Pakuda writes, I have defined the perfect acknowledgement of God's unity as the accord of heart and tongue in acknowledging the unity of the Creator. After one is able to demonstrate it and has knowledge of aspects of its absolute oneness by way of reasoning analysis. So what he's saying is that we have to analyze, we have to contemplate on the oneness of Hashem. How do we do this? By looking at the world. Look at the world. Look at how he created apples, for example. Look how many classes of apples there are. Go to the supermarket, count them. There are infinite amounts of apples, and each one tastes different. And they have different colors, and ones are more soft and some are more hard. Ones are good for juice, some are good for eating, and some are good for pies. So when we acknowledge this vastness of creation, then we're able to unite Hashem with everything. We can see the unity in it. And it's by contemplation, by learning, by analyzing, by coming to our own conception of God, and not by what we learned at home or how people define Hashem. We have to go to the source, and we have to learn it by ourselves. So I leave you here today. I wish you a beautiful week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.